Thank you. You people are too good to me.
Is JBL hearing the same crowd I'm hearing?
You know, I've accomplished a great many things in my career. I made a fortune in the stock market. I am one of the greatest WWE champions in history. And damned if I ain't one of the most humble sons of bitches to ever set foot in a Smackdown ring.
It's all true, Cole. He is humble. You know what? You should try and be a little humble sometimes.
Oh, please.
But for all of my accomplishments, one of my absolute greatest was adding Torrie Wilson to my administration. And nothing against you, Orlando, but you're my favorite acquisition.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. You know, JBL, for all your bragging, it looks to me like you couldn't get yourself a woman without buying her contract.
That's a damn lie. Women everywhere fall at my feet. I am a wealthy man. I am a captain of industry. I am a wrestling god.
Well, if you're as great as you say you are, then how about a little match tonight? You and me for Torrie's contract.
A match? With you? You've got to be kidding me. You're not in my league, son.
What a champion.
But I'll tell you what I will do. You go backstage and get one of your boyfriends to team up with you, and you can face my current administration in a match later on tonight.
That's pretty generous of JBL. I mean, you gotta admit that, Cole.
Generous? It looks to me as if JBL's ducking a direct challenge.
Alright, hey everyone, welcome back with Being on Mac. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2006. Whom do you choose to partner up with in your match against JBL and Orlando Jordan? We're going to go with RVD, and like I said, the choices in this game really do matter, so... I mentioned in my previous playthrough, you know, depending on who you win the special guest referee match, that might determine who you face later on. And this, it might even be this choice here. There's a lot of different choices that, just from the outset in this game, that kind of change the storyline a little bit. But I'm just not 100% sure what that choice is because of just how many choices, how it affects, you know, who you face in a future storyline. It might even be whether or not your character's heel or face, but I don't think that's the case. But I keep bringing up a future storyline. You guys will understand it when we get to it, or at least I'll explain it when we get to that. But I am going to just say that I'm not going. There are quite a few alternate storylines in this game. I'm just gonna stick with whatever path I have here. You know, if you want to see all the storylines and stuff like that, there is you know, a great YouTuber who usually covers the Smackdown series stuff. And that is Young Boy. You know, he plays like the PS1, PS2 games and stuff like that. Orlando Jordan, oh man, what an interesting character he is. Apparently he left the WWE because he wanted to do a bisexual character or whatever, and the WWE just kind of weren't really on board with it. And then eventually he did that character in you know, TNA, and I don't know. My thing is I don't really have a problem with the fact that, like, you know, he's bisexual, but it's like, why is that your character, right? Because, like, to me, it's like, you know, that a lot of times when they do that stuff, it's like, you know, why do I have to, why is the sexuality a big part of the character, you know what I mean? Like, I feel the same way with, like, the Billy and Chuck. The only time I think it worked was with Goldust, because it was kind of like, is he really gay, or is he just good at playing manipulative, like, mind games with people? Is he trying to get in people's head? So that, in my opinion, that's kind of what made Goldust so cool which I think I may have said Goldberg was gay, but that was a mistake if I did. I think I said Goldust, but just in case, I want to clear that up for the Goldberg fans. But Goldust, yeah, like for that it actually worked because there was like actual psychology behind it. But I think for like Billy and Chuck, it was just kind of like they're gay, isn't that funny? Or with Orlando Jordan, it was like, yeah, I think it was even kind of like worse in a way, because like, I mean, yeah, he really is bisexual, and you can make an argument, okay, you know, it's who he is, and I have no issue with that, but it's kind of like, what are we supposed to grasp onto? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something with a lot of modern day gimmicks, in my opinion, which it's like, yeah, they have an over-the-top character, but what are you supposed to like about it? What are you supposed to grasp onto? I mean, if you're bisexual, I mean, sure. But, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't watch too much of it, but it was just kind of like, you know, he would come out, he'd have, like, I think vanilla frosting or something on his chest, and, like, the guy and the girl would dip strawberries on his chest, and they would, like, eat it or something like that, or he would eat it. I don't know. It's, like, it's just weird. I think the most disgusting part of that gimmick is the fact that I would not want to wrestle anybody with like frosting on their chest or whatever. Like, I don't know. That's just weird. That's the weirdest part to me. Man, the overdrive. I always thought it was cool as a kid, to be quite honest with you, but I don't know, a lot of people didn't really like that move, whether it was Carlito, Randy Orton, MVP doing it. I get the argument. It does look a bit silly. Like, it seems like it'd be something that's cool, but at the same time, you have, it takes a while to set up at times, which I'm surprised people complain about it, because I feel like the same people who say the overdrive sucks are the same people that kind of like the Canadian Destroyer, which is that, like, flipping pile driver thing. But I don't know. Uh-oh, he's got me in the Masters lock. RVD, what the hell are you doing? Oh, jeez, he's upset. He's bitter he lost that triple threat match. Now he's taking it out on me. And I do gotta say though, as much as I like this game, there's still, you can always, I think something that's kind of cool in a lot of these PS2 games is you can still see a lot of aspects, you know, whether it's animations or the way that the match types are, where they resemble the classic Smackdown games on the PS1 still. You know, even with like the grappling system, I think for the longest time you could still see traces of that, and like, you know, even in like Smackdown vs. Raw, you know, the original. I can tell you right now, I'm having a difficult time with the targeting system. That's something that I never really upgraded at this point. Referees are also, you know, from Just Bring It, are still complete jackasses in this game too, and that can be frustrating. They're a little bit better. They're not as bad as Here Comes the Pain. Lord, oh Lord, I mean, Here Comes the Pain is just terrible with the referee logic. They're always getting in the way, and then they're bitching at you because they got in the way of a goddamn clothesline. But yeah, as far as like the animation, the thing I brought all that, you know, like how they resemble the classic, you know, PS1 games. The tag team matches in these games, maybe it was in 2007 when they kind of got better. 2009, I think they definitely did. But man, tag team matches, the conventional ones are just really not that fun to play in these old SmackDown games, in my opinion. They're kind of some of the lamest matches, just because like the way the AI works, and it seems like the AI is, if your opponents are, they're great. They're always, you know, focused on breaking up the pin and stuff like that. But you know, like, even though like you have controls for like your AI partner, right? So you know, like if I flick the L3 button up or whatever, maybe it's not the movement, it's actually the whatever the you know, the free button is. I think it's L3. But, you know, that'll determine, like, all right, you know, Rob Van Dam, you know, if I flick it up or down, he'll go after, you know, the tag opponents. If I flick it to the side, he'll go after the guy in the ring and help me out with him. But, I mean, it still just doesn't work. Like, you know, if I go for a pin, he'll be walking, or he'll run and like just miss the opponent or something like that with the attack, so they break up the pin anyway or whatever. But no, sir, not the AI. You know, when you're facing them. Plus, it gets super annoying when you know, you step out of the ring. Like, one person steps out of the ring and you just kind of want the match to go back to the pace it was. You know, you even like throw the guy back in the ring so you're both in the ring, but then, you know, the partners, they still feel the need to attack you for like 10 minutes, and of course the ref doesn't do anything about it. So I'm hoping to, you know, curb that and, you know, just help out RVD by taking out the competition on the outside of the ring rather than, you know, try and break up the pin against two guys. But I don't know if RVD can do it, to be quite honest, because I feel like they make the AI of your partner a lot worse than the AI of who you're facing once again. But they also don't give you an option to actually choose and have, you know, play as both people in this game for whatever reason. Holy shit, take it easy. I do think it's funny that like their AI kind of defaults to just like mashing the strike button over and over again. So it's actually really effective too, because like even if you reverse it, it's like, okay, you know, they hit me with the punch, I reverse it, but by the time that happens, you know, it's already, you know, 2. You can't really, you don't have time to really break it up, especially since if it's like a computer, sure, they could probably do it. But like the targeting system in this game, like you're more likely to accidentally hit the guy back rather than actually knock out the, you know, break up the pin or whatever, and that's just kind of super annoying. But a good thing about being a dirty character in this game is I can freely attack these people, and I can use weapons too. That's kind of a flaw in my opinion in this game's clean and dirty logic. I love that they include it, but man, that's a devastating punch. But it's super annoying when like you're you know, a clean wrestler and you know, you use weapons and a literal hardcore match, but because you're clean, oh, you can't freaking, you know, use a weapon. It makes your momentum meter go down. And it's kind of annoying too, you know, like I get it, but like I think it's too easy to spam high flying moves in this game. So it's kind of broken in that sense if you're a clean wrestler, and if you're a dirty wrestler, obviously hitting a high flying move and makes your meter go way down. So I don't know, I think they had some balancing issues with it, so I'm kind of glad. On one hand, I love the clean and dirty stuff just for the character work you can do in a match, but at the same time, like I feel like they should have tried a little bit harder to find like an even ground. Like I think they probably did it the best in the original Smackdown versus Raw, because you had the separate meters. So, you know, like you could play the match however you wanted, but if you played the match, you know, according to your crowd reaction, you know, the play style, clean or dirty, then you could do special, you know, moves and stuff like that based off of it, or go into like an invincibility state or something like that. But they got a lot of cool additions, like the super clean, the super dirty moves, and if you're a clean wrestler, you can do the stealing the finisher. One thing I think is also underrated in this game, like I don't think it's like a big, cool, like awesome, like they should bring it back, but I did love on this game where if you if it's a one-on-one match and you use your finisher while your momentum is full, you get like this black and white slow motion thing. And I always thought that was cool. Apparently a lot of people hate it and say it's stupid and it's weird. I think it's awesome. Unfortunately, I playing on an emulator here, so unfortunately there's just like issues with it where like instead of it going grayscale, like it blacks out completely except for like some weird lights. So unfortunately I can't really show it off to you. Like there's just a lot of weird things that happens with emulators sometimes. Like for WrestleMania 2000 I can't do the, well, any real N64 emulator games, I can't do the blur effect stuff. So in Revenge, when you first fight a hidden unlockable character, like if you remember, like it blurred the screen a little for some reason. Well, they don't do that, and that's cool, but like I can't do the blur function in WrestleMania 2000 when I'm checking out previewing a move or whatever in the edit move list. I can't and also in Revenge, like you know, I remember a cool thing was, like, if you're, for example, the sold out stage, right? That little, I don't even know what you'd call it, like the little Titantron thing they have there. They kind of ruin the effect with that because it disappears completely instead of like showing the menu options.
I don't believe it. This is a damn mugging.
It ain't exactly Queensberry rules, Cole, but I'm pretty sure we ain't in Queensberry neither.
Torrie, what are you doing here?
Listen, I don't have much time. JBL's gonna notice that I'm missing before too long. But I have some good news. I've convinced JBL to put my contract on the line at Vengeance in an Iron Man match.
That's great.
But there are two catches. The first is that I had to agree that it would be a lifetime contract. If JBL wins, I'm his for the rest of my career.
Yo, that ain't gonna happen. What's the second catch?
The superstar who wants to sign the match for Vengeance has to beat Orlando Jordan in a match tonight.
Beat Orlando? No problem. I'll mop the floor with that goon. He can't see me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean you'll take on Orlando?
Just what I said. You got a problem with that?
Yeah, I do have a problem with that. I can take Orlando myself.
Tell you what. We'll solve your little problem the way I solve all my problems. You and me can work it out in the parking lot.
I don't believe it. These guys still can't get on the same page. Now they're going to have a match to decide who gets to take on JBL's chief of staff later tonight.
Not just a match, Cole. A parking lot brawl. This don't look too good for Torrie.
Man, imagine being poor Torrie Wilson. Like, she just doesn't want to be a part of JBL's cabinet. And she's asking all these guys for help and stuff like that. And meanwhile, we're all just, you know, fighting amongst ourselves, trying to be the hero, rather than working as a team. Also, like, I find it interesting that the Bashams use the 3D. They have to. Is that something, like, I don't remember the Bashams all that well. Was that something they did when the Dudleys left, or or was maybe that was even because I think the Dudleys. There were actually a few canceled characters in this game, which I'll probably go over at some point in an episode. But I can't really remember most of them off the top of my head, so. But, like, I think the Dudleys were two people that were removed from this game because they left early on. Which is kind of sad. It's easy. Like, I think they left in, like, May or something like that. Maybe June. And it's sad to think that, like, at this point, they were able to, like, remove people super easy, obviously, because it's easy to remove, but, like, it was always sad that, you know, like, if somebody big debuted in July, they weren't really able to add them in. Which, I mean, that was something that was awesome about, like, the PS1 N64 eras. You know, you look at No Mercy, and, like, they had Kane's updated attire from when it debuted at SummerSlam. They had, you know, Right to Censor debuted in June. I think like late June or whatever. And, you know, Steven Richards was, you know, completely added to the game, as well as the Right to Censor gimmicks for Goodfather and Bull Buchanan. They had the updated matte logos for like Unforgiven and SummerSlam and SmackDown 2, as well as, you know, Right to Censor and stuff like that. And a weird thing, they also had like Kane's updated attire in SmackDown 2, but for some reason it was just like an extra costume rather than, you know, his actual normal outfit in the game. I was just kind of found that weird. Oof, man, John Cena, he's not messing around. I did increase the difficulty this time because the first you know, playthrough. I did it on easy to kind of familiarize myself with the controls. This is normal, and eventually I'm gonna try and just work my way up to Legends. So we'll see. Jeez, yeah, sorry. I mean, this is what I mean with the grayscale not working on the emulator. And it sucks because, like, when you do it with a full momentum meter, it actually does way more damage. But I am going to try and avoid it so you don't have to see that emulator glitch.
Here's your winner, spit in the face of people, Carlito.
You know what coolness you're looking at?
But I don't know. I just, like, I know a lot of people, they always say nowadays too is, you know, oh, well, you know, the reason why so-and-so wasn't in despite being in May and June or whatever is because, you know, they only base it off of who was on the roster at WrestleMania and stuff like that, right? And I don't know, like, I still feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like even during the PS2 era, at least with the early games as well, I'm pretty sure that they were able to add people who, like, late into the game and stuff like that as well. Especially with the Smackdown titles, I feel like. Because, like, you know, like, Here Comes the Pain, like, Goldberg and Lesnar both debuted after WrestleMania and stuff. And obviously, they were included. So, I mean, I think I can definitely see that that's the case today, but I think people, like, they see that that's how it is for, like, today's, like, wrestling games, and I don't think they understand that that's not how, that was always the case, and that as far as it goes. JBL. I think JBL was definitely an underrated character. I enjoyed the hell out of him. Like, that whole going after Mexico stuff because he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero. Like, I think there's a lot of people that think that's legitimately offensive, and it's like, dude, come on. That stuff's hilarious. Especially when he went out at night and he started just telling the Mexicans to go back to Mexico. Like, it's so, I think it's to a point where, like, it's just so stupid. Like obviously if, like, somebody's stupid and it's legitimate racism, like, yeah, you know, hold people accountable, but, like, come on, when it's, like, done in joking manners or, you know, cartoony manners, stuff like that, I don't know. I say I don't like to talk about politics, but apparently I like to give my opinion more often than I should reasonably. But, you know, this is an entertainment channel, so keep my mouth shut on that. But I will say, though, when he goose-stepped, he was goose-stepping and stuff like that, and doing the, you know, the Hitler salute and stuff like that in Germany, yeah, that's just, there's some things I think that just, you know, go beyond the realm of entertainment, like that, and, you know, the blackface stuff. You know, there is stuff where you can go too far because it's just completely disrespectful. But I don't know. I'm gonna try and stop talking about politics in my videos, just in general. I always say, you know, I don't like to talk about them, but I do. Because I mean, nobody. These should be, you know, escapes from that kind of stuff. At least that's how I view it. That's why I play video games and stuff like that. Besides, we're here to talk about wrestling and characters. But, I mean, even JBL is feud with Undertaker. I mean, that I thought was awesome. And the Mini Taker, that was awesome. I think that's probably one of my favorite. That's definitely the best midget segment in WWE. Just because the way, you know, for some reason, you know, while the Undertaker comes out, JBL still has, you know, the little Undertaker in the tombstone piledriver position, so it just looks weird. Then he just throws the little Undertaker at the real Undertaker, and Undertaker just kind of swats him off. That's awesome. Like, if you haven't seen that, you gotta check it out. If somebody hasn't already, somebody needs to just upload, like, all the little people segments of WWE into one video, because there's a surprising amount of that. Like, Vince, you could tell, definitely thinks that, like, little people are just, like, absolutely hilarious. You know, obviously there was Hornswoggle, there was the WLC, the El Torito, I think it was. I can't remember his name. The guy who was with the Los Matadores or whatever they were called. So, but you had that. You know, you had Hornswoggle and the mini Battle Royal with like Mini Kane and Mini Mankind and stuff like that. I think there was even like one where like in the Attitude Era where you had Mini Mankind and Mini Vader. Yeah, you had not Doink the Clown but Dink. That was a good one. Geez, you even had Edge and Christian at the Attitude Era where they had the Dudley Boys who were little like come out, and I think they had like a preschool play table or something that they came out with, as well as the Hardys, and they came out and like they made fun of them. I mean, that stuff. Oh, Mini Booker T. Like, see, there's just it's crazy when you think about it, how many segments that they had with like just like little people and stuff like that. And oh man, I love it. I really do. I think that stuff's always funny because it's just so stupid. But I don't know. You guys comment down below if you were a fan of those little people segments. Which was your favorite, you know, little person? I already said midget, so I mean, it's already out there. I don't really know why I'm trying to correct myself. But who's your favorite midget wrestler? Actually, I'll even I think there's even like a literal midget wrestling league or something like that with like legit wrestlers and stuff, because they're kind of like jokes in the States, but I think they actually have some promotions in like Mexico and stuff like that where they're like luchadors and they can actually go. Like they have some really entertaining contests. It's
JBL probably expected Orlando Jordan to get the job done last Thursday, but
there's also like it's weird when you think about it, because it kind of like you don't really see. I've probably seen one little person in my life, if I'm being honest, like in real life. And when you see like, you know, those promotions and stuff like that, it makes you think like, wow, there's a lot more people, you know, affected with dwarfism than you think.
I think I'd rather lose the title.
Which is sad, you know. I mean, for as much as like, you know, I'm making fun of him, like I understand why a lot of them are get upset with that kind of stuff, which. I think the biggest tragedy, though, is travesty is that we never got the mini Carlito. Imagine, you know, him with the afro. That would have been awesome. Plus, JBL's matches with Eddie Guerrero were phenomenal. The only thing that was, it was just too much blood with Eddie when he accidentally played it. But, I mean, that was an accidental thing. I don't think it was, obviously it wasn't intentional, but... Oh, and JBL's feud, I think he had a feud with Batista, and that was pretty good too. So yeah, I mean, he had I think the stupidest feud he was involved in was the one with HBK where apparently Shawn Michaels went bankrupt, so he was counting on JBL to pay his bills and stuff like that. Like, that was just ridiculous. I have no idea. Like, two main eventers, and like that's what they're. Why didn't somebody just like, you know, when they heard that pitch say, you know, Vince, you know, that's kind of stupid. Why are we doing that? But, I mean, they definitely had to say for it. Then there was the feud he had with Rey Mysterio where he said if he didn't win the world title at Judgment Day that he was going to leave the WWE, and he did for a little bit and became the commentator. He was pretty entertaining at first on commentary too. Because he would just say, like, once again, JBL is just the epitome of, like, stupid. And it's just so entertaining. Like, I keep listing all these things, but, I mean, there's just too many segments of JBL to list. And I know a lot of people think he's an asshole, and I think there's, like, hazing and stuff like that, and I don't know if I kind of given my thoughts on it or not. I have a very forgetful mind, but... I think there's a limit, like, you know, like protecting the business and stuff like that. And JBL lays his moves in, and I think that's awesome because it adds to that realism, right? And once again, the same people who say, oh yeah, so you're legitimately hurting your opponent, that's great. They're probably the same people that say, like, you know, oh, those Japanese chops are great, or Gunther and his chops are great and stuff like that. So I don't really give them too much mind. But I don't think it should be to intentionally hurt your opponent, but weighing it in and making it look real, I think that's pretty awesome. I think that's an underrated aspect of JBL and Hardcore Holly in particular. But I think with Hardcore Holly, you know, beating up Rene Dupree over a parking ticket that Rene Dupree, you know, tried to make up for, like, no, that's just being an asshole. Like, there's no defense of that whatsoever. But then with JBL, you know, if it's another wrestler that can defend themselves and stuff like that, you know, it's still not really cool. But, you know, I think there's a difference between hazing and, you know, being able to take a joke and stuff like that. But, I mean, like, guys like freaking Joey Styles, where he literally had to stand up and punch JBL and knock him out. Like, I mean, that's... Come on, dude. Like, that's when it goes way too far. I think there's even things where, like, they say JBL's kind of like a bad drunk in a lot of cases, and that's how it happened. And that's kind of, you know, why he's been at his worst at times. Like, that's why, like, when he was drunk when he assaulted Blue Meanie. But once again, you know, drunk or not, you know, you can't be, you know, legitimately assaulting people like that. And it's cool that they're good friends now, but, like, there's laying it in once again. But then what possesses you to start literally trying to beat the crap out of someone? So I definitely understand people not liking JBL whatsoever in that regard, as a person anyway. I think he even, that Palmer, I can't remember his name because he wasn't there for that long. I think his name was like Palmer Cannon or Nick Palmer, something like that. You know, I think he left because of JBL's bullying, and Rey Mysterio even tried to talk him in and stay in, but I think he, like, just kind of at one point just said, you know what, screw it, I'm done. He left, like, his hotel on, like, a trip or something like that. And, you know, that was that. And, you know, I mean, that was just, you know, to really bully somebody out of the business like that, especially when, once again, they're not even, like, a wrestler or anything like that. They're just, like, a defenseless dude. Yeah, that's just bull crap. So that is definitely stuff that I agree with people on. Is this a no disqualification match? It is not. Why would he do that? I guess he's just fed up. But yeah, if you can't tell, I absolutely just sped up the footage because Iron Man matches in these games, well, any game really. I mean, 10 minutes, like No Mercy, they had it right, and there was a few that had it right. Like 10 minutes, you know, okay, that's no big deal, but I can't stand it when you have like more than 10 minutes. And it's 10 minutes is already lame. Like, Iron Man matches are cool to watch, but when it comes to you know, in the games, like, no, maybe if you're playing with a friend, I don't usually play those because, like, there's not really, it's just kind of like, there's not really much excitement with it. It's like once you beat them, like, okay, I can just kind of pin them over and over again, or hit them with a big move and pin them or whatever. So, I mean, it's just, there's not really that much excitement. It's like, all right, I already won. Let's move on. And I don't know. Some games like to spam the Iron Man matches. The worst was the Smackdown 2. If anybody remembers that, like if, you know, you fought the unknown wrestlers or whatever, it was always like a special match type. And, man, those were, like, sometimes it would be an Iron Man match. There were times where I'd have, like, 3 Iron Man matches in a row with the unknown wrestlers, you know, and it happens every, like, 2 or 3 months where you face them, and, like, each time they're a half hour. And it's like, dude, like, especially in a game like Smackdown 2 where it's, like, arcade focused and it's all about pretty much winning matches in, like, 3 minutes. Like, how are you going to do that to us? They were not thinking in that game. I can tell you that with the Iron Man moves. So anytime I have an Iron Man match, I'm probably just going to speed up the footage. Unless if it's like one of the only matches in the storyline. But this is at ×2 speed, and it seems like the clock doesn't move as fast as it should, but maybe that's just me. Man, he's actually kind of starting to come back, though. I'm not even gonna lie. This is kind of getting worried. Uh-oh. This might actually be a pinfall. That is also a devastating powerbomb, too. Like, no joke. Like, you actually look at him doing that to somebody. I think it was on, like, he started doing that powerbomb right before, like, he had the long pants. He was always like in the APA or whatever. But, yeah, it is devastating. Devastating looking. I think the most devastating powerbomb I've seen, though, is probably the last ride. Because it's not just a regular, powerbomb where, he sits on your shoulders with, the dick in his face or whatever, and then he slams you. The last ride, he literally picks you up even higher in the air before just slamming you down. And I don't think I've seen really a powerbomb like that since then. The jackknife powerbomb by Diesel or Kevin Nash is also good too, I think. But apparently he said the reason why he does that particular powerbomb is because he didn't want anybody's dick in his face. And I don't know, I definitely I understand his logic there, I'm not gonna lie. Because I wouldn't want that either. But some of those times, like, you see he kind of just, it's a weird, like, powerbomb in the sense of, I feel like the games never really have done the jackknife, animation very well. Because, especially when he was Diesel, like, it was, I think what made it look so good was just how sloppy it looked as well. Because, like, all he really did was kind of pick you up and kind of spin you around and then just kind of let you drop. It does seem our time is up, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Make sure to check out next week's episode on Wrestling Wednesday. But above all else, please remember to have a nice day.
He did it! He won Torrie's contract back from JBL.
Now that's a gal who's got no trouble showing her appreciation. He's a lucky dude, Cole. Torrie's contract and a victory over the WWE Champion all in one night.
And I don't think his night's over yet, if you know what I mean.
No, Cole, I don't know what you mean. Why don't you spell it out for me? You're such a fool.